Hello, photographers. My name is Spyros Heniadis, and this is where I answer your photography questions, and we learn about photography together. It's Wednesday, and we've got our first question of the week that comes from Slip By You 2, who says, I went out last night to shoot the stars for the first time, and he was using bulb mode, and he says, I was reading up on it today and read where people were using bulb mode to get exposures for longer than 30 seconds. And Slip By You 2 wants to know if holding the shutter open for something like 10 minutes or longer will cause any wear or strain on the shutter, the lens, or the camera itself. The short answer to this is no, it won't, because the camera is designed to not take wear and damage from using bulb mode. If it would damage the camera, the option would not be available to you. So first, very quickly, let me explain bulb mode. Bulb mode allows you to take exposures for longer than your longest shutter speed on the camera, typically 30 seconds on a DSLR. What happens in bulb mode is the shutter stays open and you take a picture for as long as you're holding the shutter button down. That could be for a minute or 40 minutes or up until the point where your battery dies. It doesn't damage your shutter because the shutter opens and just stays open. When it closes, that's still just one shutter actuation. So you've just taken one photo with the shutter. That's nothing. It doesn't make any difference. And the lens, there's no wear and tear to the lens when you're sitting there taking exposure for 40 minutes because the lens just sits there and the aperture is open and it just gathers light. So nothing hurts the lens at all in that situation either. The sensor is the one thing that in theory could take damage because the longer the sensor is active, the hotter it gets. But the camera knows this and the manufacturers know this, so they put controls and faults into place. For instance, if the sensor was getting too hot, then the camera would shut down and it would just stop taking pictures and you wouldn't be able to do anything with it. But as I said, bulb mode is there. You can safely use it. It's not going to damage your camera. Now, what will happen if you're using bulb mode and you're taking longer and longer exposures is you'll get more noise in your image because as heat builds up in the sensor, that heat introduces randomized noise and information into the image, and that shows up in the image as more noise. So that's something you'll want to be aware of. And in some cases, you can reduce that noise by, instead of shooting one long bulb mode exposure, shooting a series of 30-second long exposures in sequence. Now, it doesn't seem like that would make much of a difference because you're still taking photos over that long period, but that sequence of images will have the noise show up repetitively, and you can use software to then remove that noise because you have it in the series of images repeating over time. And you use software like Star Stacks to take a series of images and then combine them into a single long exposure image. So it's something that's very easy to do, and the software is free. But again, bulb mode, there's nothing wrong with using it. There's no danger to it. Feel free to take those photos. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this question and the answer. And if you have questions that you want me to answer for you, leave them down in the comments. And then do me a favor, would you like this video and subscribe to my channel? If you really like this video, maybe share it with your friends. But the most important thing you need to do is get out there and take some damn photos. I'll see you guys tomorrow.